Well, good day to all of our awesome audience. We are taking a quick trip here to the mountains in Tennessee, a little bread and breakfast. We like to start all of our trainings off with a nice picturesque background, a little video, get you dreaming again, taking those dreams off the shelf, blowing off all the dust. Listen, we've got a very important update that is coming from THWleadership.com. That's a site you want to visit frequently, THWleadership.com. That's pretty, isn't it? That's pretty. As I'm doing this, we are less than 24 hours from THW Global phasing out of the soft launch to I'm hearing the words pre-launch, and that just means that we're still getting ready to get ready. Obviously, we're going to be getting ready to view for pay, and there's going to be quite a few other things that will be coming up over the coming week. So hopefully you enjoyed your nice mental vacation break. Now, what I wanted to do is at THWleadership.com, there's a lot of content. And so I wanted to declutter it just a bit to make it easier for you. So you're going to see the content that, as I went over it, I thought was the most important content to share in this particular video. Again, you'll find this at THWleadership.com. Some of you that are watching this on a video sharing site, you can just head over to THWleadership.com. Many of you that are in our email list or you're in our push notification list, the video that I'm sharing this from is right above this content. So you see it right below the video. Okay. All right. What they basically do is they tell us what to expect over the next 6 months. And I believe the writer of this is Papi Julio. I believe that's right. And forgive me, Papi Julio, for everything that you do for all of us here at THW Global. If I messed that up, please forgive me, buddy. Okay? All right. So now this is big. I think this is absolutely huge. THW Global has decided to make the pay system seamless. This means that people in Vietnam, Russia, Philippines, USA, and all countries will be on the same pay schedule. So in times past, the whole idea was, the game plan was to pay people based on where they lived, what country they lived in, up to 2 times the average minimum wage. Now, we know that we weren't going to come out of the gate doing that. That ultimately, as we had more in-house advertisers, that we would start reaching at that 2 times the average country's minimum wage. All right. What they've decided to do is to just do away from that. And I don't know if they're doing away from that just because that's just too confusing or what have you. This is going to be really, really big. Now, I don't know if that means that some of the countries that maybe have a higher minimum wage, let's say like the US or like Australia or what have you, if that dilutes a little bit from those folks that are viewing. I don't know. We don't know that. But let me tell you why I think this is so huge. Because if you were to go and look at a timeline of YouTube, you would see now that over 80% of the viewership at YouTube videos are coming from outside of the US. Now, for those of us who are building a team, and if you're not building a team yet, hopefully it's just because you don't know how to, and you're going to stick around long enough to figure out the hows because your why is big enough, okay? What this means is when you're overriding your team, see what would have happened before is, let's say you're in the US. Okay, so let's say that you're in the US and you had a teammate that you personally enrolled out of Malaysia. Well, I don't know what the average minimum wage is in Malaysia, but I'm going to assume that it's less than in the US. I'll use the Philippines because I know that. All right, so in the Philippines, it's far less than in the USA. All right, now the Filipino market, a lot of people, I mean, the number of Filipinos that are part of THW Global is a huge number. All right, so let's say that you had a large team out of the Philippines. They would have been viewing, they would have been earning, but they would have been earning a much lesser amount. So your override from your Filipino audience all right, would have been much, much less than your override from, let's say, your US-based audience or your Australian audience or your UK audience. Well, now that they're leveling out the earning field from your personal viewing, that means that as you're growing your organization, and you may not know anybody in Russia or Vietnam or the Philippines, but as you begin to build your business, remember, what is it, 4 or 5 or 6 degrees of separation? That basically you're just about 4 or 5 or 6 connections away from anywhere in the world, from any person in the world. Okay. All right. So this is huge. This is huge. This is huge. The other thing this does is this allows folks that are in other countries that there isn't a very high minimum wage to really impact the economies potentially of those countries. You know, now all of a sudden, you know, you could take an island country, you could take what have you, you know, where the wages are lower, and now all of a sudden, I don't know what people are going to make. I don't know if they're going to make a whole lot out of the gate. I don't think we're going to make a lot out of the gate initially. All right. But we have to remember that a business, and this is what this is. All right. I know a lot of people have looked at it like a job, have promoted it like a job. I'm going to strongly recommend that you start to alter your promotion and don't promote it so much as a job as you do a business. And remember what we always say to our audience, that a business never pays you like a job. A job, you know what you're going to make, but you're going to have those caps. So you're going to work today and a week or 2 weeks, you're going to make X amount based on the amount of hours that you work. Okay, that's not how business is. Many of us have been here since mid-June, some of you since mid-July, and we've been putting the work in, going to webinars, promoting the business. You know, we hadn't made a dime yet. All right, that's called business. That's called business. That's called business. All right. And so early on in business, you put a lot more in, a lot more in, a lot more in, a lot more in than what you're taking out. You're not getting the rewards just yet. But then down the road, if you just stick it out, what starts to happen is you don't spend any more time, but your business starts to grow. And the beautiful part of network marketing is now all of a sudden you start getting some duplication. And with this model, now all of a sudden you start having tens and hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands, in time perhaps even hundreds of thousands of folks in your 10-level organization all viewing several hours a week, and you're getting overrides, even if it's just a few pennies per hour. If all of a sudden you've got 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 or more viewing hours a week, and you're getting a few pennies for every hour, that starts to add up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that's really huge. Now they go on to say why the $10 power bonus is so important. We've been hearing about this. This gives us some more clarity. And, you know, while we were not standing on the rooftop saying, hey, everybody go and get certified, because we just didn't feel like we had enough information to promote or endorse people coming up with a $500 outlay. All right. But $10, hey, I'm standing on top of the rooftop saying, you want to do the $10 power bonus. All right, now they go on to explain this, and this makes so much sense. They said in the first 6 months, the $10 power bonus is very important, especially since $9 of the $10 is going back into the compensation system. All right, and that is going to the team leaders as well as the viewers, the team builders, as well as the viewers. Now, obviously, $10 a month is going to be affordable for the vast majority of the masses. All right, so 98% of the folks out there, that's the number they use. I don't know if it's 98%, 95%, whatever. All right, but that's going to be affordable for the masses. So of the $10, $5 is going to go to the team builders power bonus. So essentially, anybody that's in your 10-level organization that also has a $10 power bonus, you're going to earn. Now, I don't know if you earn on the full 10 levels or if there are some volume requirements to earn. You know, maybe a lot of times you'll have to earn on the first 3 levels, you've got to do this much, and to earn on levels 4 through 6, you've got to do that much. I don't know how that's going to work out. We do know that the other $4 goes to the viewer and supporting advertising system. What I gather from that is going to help pay viewers. Okay, maybe that goes into a pool, and from that pool, a percentage of that, or from that pool, people are getting tokens and what have you. Okay, the $10 power bonus is for the IVs and not for THW Global. Obviously, if $9 of the $10 being collected is going in some combination effect, the power bonus system, and to support the viewer and supporting the advertising system, then obviously THW Global's, there's a buck left. Okay. Now, this makes sense to me. This makes perfect sense. It will help in the transition of THW Global building a very successful in-house advertising system with all of the certified IVs and direct corporate sales. So those who've gotten certified are going to be able to sell advertising, and of course corporate's going to be selling advertising, and there's going to be a transition. Right now, the majority of the advertising that you see are through third parties. So THW Global makes a very small amount of that, and they go on to talk about how that works right now. You can feel free to read that. So it's going to take some time. Now, here's one thing that I want us to get. I don't think that THW Global has done a good enough job sharing this. I don't think I've done a good enough job sharing this because I was a little in the dark. I wasn't sure. But remember when we first started talking about THW Global, the whole thing was that you were going to have 50,000 IVs in your regional area, let's say in your country, that not only registered, but also had filled out the demographic survey. Now, we have over 500,000 folks now that have filled out the demographic survey. But according to THWleadership.com, there's over 200 countries now being represented. So if you do the numbers there, most countries do not have 50,000 folks that are registered and have taken the demographic surveys. So what this means is that most people in most countries would not have been viewing for pay for a while. The U.S. maybe would have been viewing for pay. I think it was Vietnam that was closing in, that was building a huge numbers. Russia and the Philippines, the last numbers I saw, I think those were the top 4. So my point is, this is awesome because it looks like all those countries that are now being served ads, it looks like you're going to be earning. You're going to be earning. So you're not going to have to wait for 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or what have you. Now, with that being said, out of the gate, we're not going to make a ton of money from our own personal viewing. However, and that's why the $10 bonus system becomes really important, because that's a way to help people generate revenue now while the advertising sales are starting to build. Okay, so hopefully that makes some sense. Now, they talk about how simple and easy it can be to start to build out your 10-level organization if you haven't begun doing so. Now, obviously, we're going to be sharing with our audience very soon. We'll be launching RAS, Reverse Advertising System. And I had a 3-hour conversation with the master architect of the system last night as I'm doing this particular recording. She's launching soon, and she's going to have all on her own, no less than 4 income streams related to it. We're going to use that system to obviously promote THW Global, but the big thing for you is that you're going to start building what you have to build a long-term sustainable business, which is going to be a list. But it's not just going to be any list. It's going to be the most responsive list, which is an SMS text messaging list. And there's going to be no less than 4 income streams tied to RAS. So when you combine THW Global with RAS with THW Global, with those 2 combined, you have multiple streams of income. All right. So they say, hey, all you got to do is ask someone to sign up 100% for free. I think this is going to work very well in your warm market. Obviously, at some point, you're going to outgrow your warm market, and this is where it's so important that you have a system like RAS and you start doing in time. I don't know what your resources are now, but in time you start doing some paid traffic. And so our message does not change, all right? Our message is still going to be the same as it relates to reinvesting back in your business, getting the tools and the resources and the paid traffic. All that's still going to be the case. All right, then they say, hey, when you have them to check their back office, they're going to see hundreds and even thousands entering into their power leg. Now, we're not making money on the power leg yet. That's going to open up once we hit about 3 million, based on what the company is saying, is when the dual team is going to open up. But people get excited when they see those numbers. They don't want to leave. They want to stay engaged, because now all of a sudden they're seeing thousands of people. After a week's time, they've got thousands, probably tens of thousands of folks in their power leg. All right, and then C, it says they will get so excited, telling everyone to look at this. I've done nothing, and I've already have so many people in my power leg. D, when an IV realizes they do not need to do anything to build the power leg, they actually begin doing everything to build the power leg. Okay, it's kind of funny. Hey, you wake up and say, man, I got all these people in my power leg. You tell people, hey, I've got all these people in my power leg, and people join you because they want to start to build their own power leg, even though they really didn't have to do anything to build the power leg. And so you start doing the things that's required to build your power leg, which basically starts to build out your 10-level organization. And you're going to earn, you can earn 50 cents per month for every active power leg person in your 10-level team. So if you've got a team of 100 folks that are in your 10 levels that do the power leg bonus, 100 times that's $50 a month. If you've got 1,000, that's $500 a month. If you've got 10,000, that's $5,000 a month. So on and so forth. Okay. All right. So this goes on to talk about some other things as well. You'll see it. Those of you that are in our email list and our push notification list, you'll see what we've posted here. If you're not in our email list or our push notification list, give me just a moment here. Give me a moment. Then what you want to do is you want to go to THW Global webinar. Now, I'm going to have to change this URL because in reading the terms and conditions, I don't think they want us using THW Global in any of our personal promotional kind of stuff. But for the time being, until we get that changed, go to thwglobalwebinar.com. When you go there, you're going to be able to be a part of our webinar list. That way you'll know about any of our live webinars. We do 2 live webinars a week on Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We do record those, so if you're not able to make the webinars, we will send out the webinar recordings to our webinar list. So you have to be opted in order to get that. Also, when you go to thwglobalwebinar.com, you'll be prompted to allow for our push notifications. What happens is when we send out an email to our list, we also send out a push notification. We typically do a video blog with our audience, and if for some reason you're not getting our emails, then the push notification is your backup to make sure that you're not missing any of our content, whether they're live webinars, recorded webinars that we're sending out, or other trainings throughout the week to help you build your business, to help you build your list, and all those good things. Okay. All right. So with that being said, one last thing. For those of you that are going to be attending our webinar on Tuesday, September 20th, because we have a lot of information that we need to cover. Typically Tuesday night is our presentation night, and also our training night. So we call this a combo webinar. We spend about 30 to 40 minutes presenting THW Global, the income opportunity, and all that good stuff. And then we spend another 30-40 minutes doing some basic marketing training. How do you build a long-term sustainable business? How do you build a list? All that good stuff, okay? What we're going to do tonight, though, since it's so close to things launching and we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, when people come to the webinar, we're going to post a link for any new folks to go and watch a presentation. With our existing folks that are already in THW Global, we're going to spend the entire time going over THW news, doing Q&A, and all of those good things. Make sure that everybody is on the same page. And then Thursday nights are our training nights. We're strictly training on Thursday nights. For the foreseeable future, we'll be training on RAS, which is the reverse advertising system. Whether we haven't launched it yet, it may launch this week. All right, it may launch this week, but you want to come on those webinars to understand how RAS is going to impact your overall bottom line. It's going to help you build your THW Global business, help you make more money with THW Global. RAS itself will have no less than 4 income streams that are totally separate and distinct from THW Global, but they work synergistically, help you to really understand connecting with your list and building a responsive list, so that anything else that you might have in terms of income opportunities, that's going to be your list. And we want to show you how you leverage your list and how you generate revenue again and again and again with different offers, different niches with your list. All right, so if any of that resonates with you and you're not already a part of our list, make sure you go to thwglobalwebinar.com so you can start following us. Doesn't matter who your sponsor happens to be. We're here to assist anyone that finds value in our training and our style and all that good stuff. Okay. All right. With that being said, we look forward to seeing you on our next live webinar. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours.